Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
From the beginning of time, humans have always looked towards the sky for inspiration and guidance. There has been a fascination with birds, stars, gods, goddesses, and other entities which seem to exist above us, and for many humans, a strong yearning to travel into space. Man has dreamt of flight since observing space, and now it is time to become the space traveller. The future of space travel requires us to understand from where we came, to see where we are going.
Several thousand years ago, philosophers Mozi and Lu Ban from China were looking to the wind for flight. They invented kites using silk and bamboo, allowing for the later development of communication, measuring distances, testing the wind, and lifting men.
The invention of the kite brought with it the desire to fly. The first known attempts at flight were typically by leaping off towers, known as tower jumping. People in China, India, and Europe first attempted flight this way.
In 1670, Francesco Lana de Tarzi published a book that showed some interesting concepts. The concept of copper foil in a sphere with a vacuum would produce a vacuum airship. This is still not possible with today's materials. Francesco is recognized as the father of aeronautics, melding science and mathematics into aerial navigation.
The Chinese are believed to have developed the first hot air device. The Chinese lantern, using hot air from a candle, can take flight and was first used for signalling. The hot air balloon achieved the first human lift and advanced to what we know of as the Zeppelin.
The first attempts at flight in a heavier-than-air flying machine were made by more than just the Wright brothers. Most attempts failed. However, they were the stepping stones for what was to come later. The oldest airport, College Park, is still in operation today.
Airplanes evolved rapidly through the century, from propeller to helicopter to jet aircraft, and most of that technology is used today.
During the Second World War, Germany developed rockets that could go a limited distance. The basic rocket technology used then is still used today. The space race started with the Soviet Union and the USA in 1957 and led to many developments for the next step, the moon.
The spacecraft assigned as Apollo 11 was the first spacecraft to have landed on the moon. The space shuttle operated at tremendous cost. Burning the fuel proved to be wasteful and dangerous technology. The International Space Station, ISS, is a habitable artificial satellite that was assembled in low Earth orbit in 1998 with the use of the space shuttle. The ISS can often be seen with the naked eye from Earth.
SpaceX, as a private aerospace producer and space transportation services company, was founded in 2002 by Elon Musk with the goal of reducing space transportation costs and enabling the colonization of Mars. SpaceX reuses the first stage of their primary rocket, Falcon 9, by vertical propulsive landings. Although, up to present time, it still uses the rocket fuel burning technology. Mehran Keshe has always said, the time for burning fuels is over, but did we need to start with that technology in the first place?
Ancient cultures have suggested the use of an alternative means of transportation. With reference to possible plasma technology,
you can go to New York from Brussels within 2 to 5 minutes. And most of this 5 minutes is actually landing and getting up.
Mehran Tavakoli Keshe was born in Iran in 1958. As the son of an X-ray engineer, he was introduced to the world of radiation and nuclear science at a very young age. In 1981, he graduated from Queen Mary, the University of London, as a nuclear engineer specialized in reactor technology system control. At that time, he developed a number of theoretical ideas related to more simple nuclear concepts and their applications. In 2002, he decided to finish the full design of his ideas about nuclear technology. This included the creation and control of gravity and energy by the use of nuclear materials in a clean and safe hydrogen reactor. Mehran Keshe introduced the concept of double magnetic fields to explain the magnetic and gravitational field of Earth.
Unknown by the existing scientific community, he wrote a number of scientific papers in 2004 and sent them for peer review, such as the creation of black holes. When one of the persons performing the peer review used his information in public, he decided to draw back his papers and to concentrate further on building prototypes.
Since the beginning of 2006, several prototypes of dynamic reactors have been built, some specifically designed to create hovering effects, similar to effects seen with magnetic levitation. Basic hovering effects have been achieved. 2007 brought the first flight test with radioactive material, in which the patents describe the process of the field interactions.
The main patent, Gravitational and Energy System, described the initial fundamental aspects of the plasma and uses. This was followed by the supplemental patent, Microplasma Reactors, where further uses and advancements were described. Mr. Keshe found himself in Iran in 2008 and was provided all the resources needed to create the first lift of a plasma reactor managed by the Iranian government. These special rotating gas reactors were used to control the plasma. To bring a deeper understanding, Mr. Keshe released the first book in 2009, The Universal Order of Creation of Matters, which contained many new concepts released to the public. This included the PMTIC plasma magnetic fields, initial fundamental plasma and plasma dilution technology used for space reactors. The plasma technology was further developed, and it manifested in weight fluctuation in a controlled environment. 2010 introduced a new state of matter called GANS, an acronym for gas in nanosolid state. The GANS produces fields to be used in the operation of the Spaceship. Advanced flight tests were performed in Iran with the guidance of Mr. Keshe and the newly designed systems.
Mr. Keshe tells us you can't bring all the doctors with you in space. Medical research advanced in 2010 and is still being explored daily all around the world. The Keshe Foundation has provided knowledge for dealing with many medical conditions in space.
A great example of plasma technology used for peaceful process is the capturing of the USA drone over Iran in December 2011. This drone was touted as one of the most advanced drones of its day, and was caught by Iran using plasma to disrupt the communications. Plasma absorbs fields, and the drone uses radio fields for piloting, a natural aspect of the plasma, a barrier of fields.
Book 2, The Structure of the Light, was released in 2011. This book brought forward the understanding of the structure of light as a cylindrical plasma where the light is in possession of all magnetic field strengths. Book 3, The Origin of the Universe, was published later in 2011. Mr. Keshe explained the further operation and interaction of different strengths of the same fields, which then leads to the creation of the universe. These 3 books bring forward a much deeper understanding of the plasma science that is applied worldwide by knowledge seekers and scientists in spaceship research and development.
There were 2 conferences to release the space technology to governments in 2012. The first international presentation in April, Keshe Foundation invited representatives of every country to the first presentation of the plasma technology. The second international presentation in September, Keshe Foundation invited the nations of the world through their ambassadors and their leaders to attend a gathering at the Keshe Foundation Center in Nenove, Belgium.
Space travel requires peace. The implementation of the plasma technology brings greater responsibility. In 2013, Mr. Keshe brought forward the World Peace Treaty. Signing of the Peace Treaty is a confirmation from yourself to your soul to act correctly in a peaceful manner.
In 2014, knowledge seekers came together from around the world to learn from Mr. Keshe, and many different experiments with reactors were performed, including improving the previously developed reactors to fit with the new knowledge, introduction of nano-coated reactors, multi-core GANS systems. The Spaceship Institute lab experiments were streamed live on the internet for all to see. SSI lab tests with reactors showed strong magnetic field pulses up to 129 Tesla and showed significant weight fluctuations. In December, an experiment was performed using reactors built by knowledge seekers from around the world. Italy, Germany, and Canada were involved in field communication tests. The tests showed that fields can interact with each other no matter the distance or time, resulting in instant communication.
In 2015, developments for space continued with different aspects of the plasma technology, such as in health, energy, and decontamination. In October of 2015, Mr. Keshe taught a popular week-long course called the Blueprint Teachings about how to build the MAGRAV power units. People from all over the world participated with building their own MAGRAV units and teaching others. With the demand of the Keshe Foundation products from all over the world, a new research center and manufacturing opened in Arizona, USA. Many developments of the technology happened in different parts of the world, and Keshe Foundation USA is no exception. John and the team started performing experiments using different sensing tools. These tools allowed the team to visualize the MAGRAV fields and to show others their interactions. With reactor formations showing positive results, partaking in the knowledge together is easier and more joyful than ever. The fun has just begun, says MT Keshe.
Mr. Keshe publicly teaches the space technology through the weekly Knowledge Seekers workshops. Plasma enthusiasts from around the world participate in gathering the knowledge and putting the puzzle together in the space race. All people, irrespective of race, nation or religion, are invited to participate in the exchange of knowledge, thus assisting humanity to live within the ethos of the universe. It is recognized that international cooperation and peace is a prerequisite for mankind to journey into deep space. Individuals and nations are invited to come together in the spirit of collaboration and unity to enable peaceful application and the use of plasma technology for space travel, food, agriculture, energy, transportation, health and more. We are excited to release the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Blueprint to humanity. The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology.
Welcome everyone to our special flight test workshop here on Saturday, May 28th, 2022. This will be with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, and he will be making announcements about the flight tests. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to begin today?
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge of Keshe Foundation, the Spaceship Institute, we welcome you to one of the most important teachings of past decades. Today is not teaching. Today is to bring you the announcement, the confirmation, the beginning of a new space flight life for man on this planet. As we saw in the intro, man for centuries, thousands of years, have tried to fly, have tried to build an object to fly in. He never understood that the flight does not need that object to be in, because he himself is a flying container where he contains the plasma of the soul of himself. But he still built aircrafts, rocket propulsion, the donkeys used to move him, and the car to take him from one to another in a box. Man now has reached the point of the confidence that he can fly without an object. Does not need to be within it, because within the man is the system of the flight. It's the soul of the man. Today, we open the door, not by talk, by introduction and introducing a new flight system, where the man has the choice to use his physicality, to use the plasma of his soul, or to use an aircraft, a shape of the embodiment to carry him. The choice is man, depending on his confidence, depending on his trust to himself. Not many space organizations have managed to launch their programs on the day they promised. There's always delay. Today, we gave a promise of you, 6th of June, 2022, to start the flight test, to achieve the flight in 2022 by all the citizens of this planet as a human race or beyond. It's taken us to develop this technology over 40 years. It's taken us months and years of preparation to develop the prototypes, the first structure that it can do both. You are the captain. You decide how you want to fly. The technology is complete in its first stage. And on the 6th of June, we invite you as knowledge seekers, as a citizen of this planet, to become the captain of your own ship in the first launch of the technology. In the past, governments like the United States and Russia became the first to launch a rocket or space technology. Today, KF, as one nation, one planet, we can fly you to the universe where you do it yourself. We provide a facility, and once you learn, you can do it yourself or still use the facilities we provide. We invited all of you who are here from every corner of this planet to be here. Before we went to your nations, before we went to the governments, before we invited the ambassadors, now we have invited the ambassadors, which is the man himself, as you, to be here today. You are the ambassadors of the race of the man and not the nations of the man. And we bring this knowledge to you as one nation, as a human race. It's for you to decide how, from now on, as one nation, develop this technology further. Today, we introduce a revolutionary technology, which we have never done, released in public, where we use the fields of the plasma and not by rotation or other dynamic systems that you have seen. We have brought the knowledge of the plasma and the matter state in the dynamism of the fields of the universe to introduce a new technology, totally revolutionary, never seen. And thanks to our team who developed it and kept the secrecy close to the chest, not to go out, not to be released, and progressively in past 2 years developed it stage by stage. Today, we announce that the new technology is released. It's released for you that you will see that you don't need a motor, you don't need the dynamic system, you don't need anything else. We gave you the basis of this knowledge in the matter of technology, where you start playing with the fields, interaction of the fields, creation of entities out of the interaction of the fields. In so many ways, we have put the puzzle of the flight the way the Creator has done. The way we came to achieve flight without interaction with an object. When we see the races of the universe coming to Earth in the UFOs or whatever, it means they have not even reached the maturity of the knowledge which the man has achieved today. Now, up to now, we looked into the skies to see the UFOs and marvel their understanding, marvel that they're ahead of us. Today, mankind become that the passengers of the UFOs and universe looks up to and marvel their knowledge, the understanding, the final phase of traveling the depths of the universe. As I said, when we take man to space, we won't take him as a slave, a subordinate that does not understand, and like a child entering into university. Now the man has become the professor of the university. We give you a knowledge which has and will bring changes beyond recognition from now. But we have to tell you step by step what it needs to be done, what has been understood, and in that process, we do not need to hover anymore. We do not need to be and sitting and watching that who makes a better propulsion, bigger tank, and then use it for whatever purpose. The tank, the fields, the energy of the universe is within the soul of the man. This man now has to release that energy to understand it while he releases it, to be able to achieve the dream of the man. The new technology which is released today is not just for flight. It's not just for you to jump somewhere. It's been adapted to fly if the wish of the man, the sincerity of the truth is to fly, but is made, developed, that it allows the soul of the man to fly. The entity is not objectives anymore. It's not an object. The entity is a field interaction. The present time of today, even when you see the UFOs, they have to carry some sort of food that they can feed them. They have developed systems to be able to transfer energy into the embodiment of the man. With a new technology, we feed the soul of the man. We feed the essence of the creation of the man, that it decides what to feed. It decides where it needed. It decides where to manifest itself. Today, you go to doctors to see where the cancer is. Today, you go to doctors to see why you got Alzheimer's. With a new technology, you go within yourself to find the cause of the cancer. You find the cause of Alzheimer's. You find the reason you created whatever condition within your physicality, that you become your own doctor. You become your own savior. The new technology allows you to come and to reach this position. You become the knowledgeable of the creation and the creator of the condition, and not the sufferer of the condition. You become not to suffer from hunger, because now you come to the point that you can feed your body without killing. You take the energies from the universe and then you feed within than feeding from outside. There is no need for killing. The time of killing is over. When you feel and you feed the soul of the man, it will not kill its cells to feed the others, but it feeds them to work in a perfect direction and dimension. The time of the limitation of the life of the man in the physical dimension, as of today, is over. Which means you can live forever through the soul of the man. It's you who decide to where and to when to manifest yourself. The new enhancement units, which we have developed in its prototypes, and by completion of the cycle of understanding of our team, as you go through it, it starts to put the puzzle together, that every man reaches the point of understanding of the work of the system. With the new technology, we allow you to do both. You have the option to still fly in the physical dimension, or to fly with the dimension of the fields of the universe. We gave you the magraphs and you abused it. We gave you the magraphs and you misused it. We gave you the magraph and you never understood it. Today, we use the same magraph technology as a power supply, as a backer of the energy of the universe, We use the batteries of the man to support the matter state of the fields, and we put the two together, one to feed the soul of the man and one to feed the physicality of the man if man needs to fly. We have developed two systems with two different combinations, and these two systems are set and are ready to be tested by the captains of man, which is you, on the 6th of June, within 8-10 days. We are not asking for delay. We are offering you, even you can fly it on Saturday or a Sunday, 2 days earlier. No space organization has ever achieved this, because we fly with the knowledge of the creation and not with the dimension of the physicality of the man. Even the time of assembling and connecting and bringing the system together was set to come to this point, that the soul of our team was aware of the work, aware of the existence, and aware of totality. Now we have come to a point. We have come to the what we call a breakthrough. Today we introduce a new plasma technology, where interaction of the fields creates the physicality, where the interaction of the fields creates motion within the emotion of the man, within the soul of the man. We create the condition that is not anymore if you have 250,000 for a few seconds of the feelings of the space, you pay to Mr. Branson, or you pay another $1 million or $2 to Mr. Moss to take you to the moon. We brought, because of the technicality and achievement in science, the condition of the flight that more or less every man on this planet, or majority of us, can afford it, and hopefully will give a chance to the others too. You can become the captain of your own ship. You are invited to come in to test. We made it possible. It's been made possible for us in the Keshe Foundation to cover the development and the costs. We are not asking over top. The expenditure of what is to come and what else we have spent on it. And we open the doors that every one of you as knowledge seekers to come in, to captain your own ship and share the knowledge with us where you went. What did you see? And we believe you, because we came to work through the trust of the systems and not through the what we call the lies of the man. We brought the technology into a position that any of you can become the what we call traveler of the universe. Or you can go within yourself and find out where the cancer cell is. Or you can go within yourself and see where the hunger is. You become the captain of your own body from inside. You become the captain of your own body from outside. Systems are set. If any of you can reach the position of balancing the fields of the universe within your soul, you can fly physically the system. In the test we did in Vienna some 2 years ago, just before in Corona, what we call the Vienna conference, we brought systems into the what we call conference. And one of the knowledge seekers from Austria managed to stop the heartbeat, managed to bring the whole thing to a halt, that the dimension of physicality did not exist. We were all there, witnessed it. We saw the others, how they played with the motion of the what we call the heartbeat of the plasma. Now that technology is complete. Now that technology is at the reach of every man. We can place this technology at every corner. You can go to it if you want to fly with it to another. You can go in it if you've got a cancer to see what you've done to yourself. You can go into it and feed yourself. In the time of disasters, our governments do not need to drop or find us to feed us. We find our soul with the system developed, we feed you. The time has changed. The time has come for us to move on. I'm proud as the head of the Keshe Foundation and the members of what are called the researchers of the Keshe Foundation around the world to announce that the door is open for you to become captains. We welcome you to Let's from Monday the 6th. We have opened the process that allows us for you to perfect the system of flight. You cannot at the moment fly into space unless you've been trained for months and years before. Your physicality is tested, mentally if you're correctly tested. With a new technology, you enter Linz Exhibition Center. You have 3 seats, which each seat is designed with this process for you to be prepared for the space travel. First seat is to match, to balance your physicality. The second seat is to match and balance the soul of physicality. And the third seat is to balance the fields of the soul. And then this takes maybe 15 minutes, depending on when and how you say you're ready to move on to the next chair. And then from the third chair, you move, you're prepared, you're ready to become the child of space. You move into the space simulation flight system. We call it simulation because it's for you to simulate it. It's not for us. It's a full flight system. It shows your capability. The first unit you enter is set in different combination. We allow you maybe 20 minutes, half an hour with the system. We won't kick you out of the system, because if you're halfway having dinner with your father who died 20 years ago, I cannot say, sorry, table is reserved, next one in. We allow you to take the flight of fancy. Then you move to the next system for you to understand the position and the structure of the flight through the soul of the man, or vice versa. Depends which way you enter the room. And then when you finish the process, you go back again on the other side to chair number 3, which allows to balance your fields, to understand what you went through, to, in a way, bring the knowledge you gained to be frozen, to be added to your soul, to the knowledge of your soul. Then you go to the next chair, which is the soul of physicality, which you bring that knowledge to be shared with your physicality, and then you come off the third chair, which brings you back to the dimension of the man. The space flight, the training for a space flight has become instantaneous. Go to the Keshe Foundation store and book your time. How many times you want to fly? And the first 10 applications will fly with us on Monday the 6th. You choose and how much you want to perfect. And you might go in and say, I felt nothing, because it means you are not prepared. Your soul is not prepared to take you there, because there's some adjustment needed. Some more understanding is needed. It's not a fault, is to understand more, to be there to be more. We will see people will come with all intentions and all what we call dimensions, with all kind of expectation to go into the system. I want to fly. I want to travel the span of universe. I want to go to the moon. I want to see no more cancer. I want to see no more hunger. I want to see no more suffering of my physicality. And you have to tell us when you come out. And months later, what did you achieve? Some of you will taste a dimension that you will want to be there again and again to complete the process of the knowledge of the universe and to understanding it in the dimension of physicality. We have given you an option. You cannot fly more than 10 times. We will not allow people to take more than 10 or maximum 20 times. to go through the process of adjusting the soul, the understanding, and the physicality to be able to fly with the dimension of the soul and not the physicality. Keshe Foundation Space Center in Linz is open for flight from today. You can book your ticket and say how many times you want to be there and what do you want to do it. And we give opportunity to all men equal from all races, from all corners of the world. As we learn, as our team learns more, as you come out of the system, where, what, and how, we adjust the systems for next 3 months to bring it to the optimum, that we understand the collection of the race of the man. You're Chinese, you're Indian, you're English, you're Arab, you're from South America. Each come with a different understanding and intentions. That's why we set up the Universal Council when you go to these machines. Then we have to adjust that all of you, irrespective of your color, race, or religion or belief, go through the same door after completion, that you become as one soul. And this process has started. We are proud to announce that all of you can become the captain. Join us and enter a new space technology without fuel, but by the interaction of the fields. I've been telling you for years, don't look at the maglev and the windings, look at the fields which creates and the conditions which creates. Now these maglevs will feed the space flight simulation units because we use their fields and not the matter state. I told you, I gave you one of the most powerful generators in the universe, but again, you looked at the crumbs. When you enter the test flight room, it's you who decides. We have not put the test flight rooms on the roof that you can take up. We have embedded you in the most concrete blocks that you see how you can fly out of the shackles of the matter state. This is the beauty of the new flight space. This is the new way we have done. This is why we called today's workshop. This is your workshop. This is where you enter the zone of the time and the space. Travel from all over the planet to join us on this adventure. It's you who build the parts of the knowledge which our team will put together that the mankind collectively will fly. We are not planning to be the systems out there. It's for you to plan to be, to become, and become the first people on the 6th of June. Maybe you land on the moon. Maybe you bring us the dust of the moon in your hand and you say, I've been there. You go to Mars, you go to another galaxies in the time you're in the system, and you bring back with your physicality the dimension of the existence where you've been. Bring us friends from different parts of the universe when you come back. Explain to us what you have seen. We believe because you are the ambassador of humanity in that time, space, and position. Man went to the moon and took pieces of it, brought it back, and when I was a young boy, was given little pieces of it to every nation to prove that the American had been on the moon. I remember going to what they call the Azadi Square in Tehran, the white building, which is the center of the manifestation of the technological development and beauty of Iran. I went there to see the stone at a young age because I wanted to see the man has been to the moon and brought an evidence. But again, at the age of 40, when I went back to Iran, or 50, when I went back to Iran, by the invitation of Mr. Ahmadinejad, I went back to the same building and I asked the guy, the manager, where is the stone from the moon? He said, that was all lies. It's never been here. Man has never been to the moon. I walked out out of the building. And I said, where does man has gone to? Who lied and who is lying to himself? I saw the stone with my own eyes at a young age, and I said, I'll take man to the moon. That he doesn't need to bring just for somebody else to see, but it brings for his own soul to receive the confirmation of his own achievement. No man can lie to himself. When you go to the moon, bring us the stones back. Bring us the cycle of life back for us to understand, to educate ourselves how to live in this environment without the monkey suit of the space travel. When you have a dinner with mom, bring part of the food for your children that the grandma brought you, said you the food of the soul. And if needs be, you change it to the dimension of its physicality. This is not a dream anymore. This is the reality of the facts which sits in front of you, and from today is open. You have never seen the space reactors when you enter into the space flight room test zone. We do not allow you to bring any electronics into the building. You're not allowed to bring any mobile phone, any cameras, or anything. We cancel your presentation or your flight if any rules is broken. We don't need evidence to believe. We trust your word to believe that you've been and you've done. And we will share your knowledge when you come out. We record the flight systems, we record your emotion, we record everything that the others to go in, they know what they might have to do or might have not to do, or what they can add to have a better, faster flight. In a way, when you walk into Linz next Monday as the first 10 people, you become what are called plasmonauts of the human race. You become the motions. You become our ambassadors to where you fly. It's your responsibility to behave good, to be good, and do good when you arrive. We travel the space of the universe with the ethos of Zoroaster. We become the Mojans with the love of Mitra. We share the knowledge of the universe not only with the human race. In your travel, you might go in two places, from one to another. You share the same. You become the ambassadors of peace. You become the ambassadors of the knowledge, and you become the ambassadors of the Creator. Use the knowledge wisely. Share the knowledge wisely, and don't let no nation and no race and no one in the universe or on earth to use this knowledge to harm the another. You wish peace. During the system, while you are in it, move within the soul of the world leaders and elevate them that they change instantly. Move to the soul of the lion, that it shall not kill just because it has the power. Move within the structure of the stone, the flower, that it shows its beauty. Move in the direction that you could never imagine. As I said, I am who I am, and I'll be who I am, and I'll not change for no man. As I came to bring the knowledge of the universe, to make man the jewel in the crown of the creation, as Mitra loved the earth. when you love someone, when you make the crown, you give it the most beautiful stones on the top, the biggest jewel. And the jewel of this crown is the human race. And we have brought to that point because the love of Mitra for man is beyond imagination. Sharing this knowledge has taken years, a lot of hardship for me and those around me. I stood a lot of persecution and suffering. But today, standing here, it was worth it. He had to go through that to bring us to this point, to end with a kingship, as the king now is the soul of the man, to end the wars, as the man has to stop the war within himself that does not create another position. There are a number of knowledge seekers which will never be allowed to enter the premises of the Keshe Foundation. Does not matter, as their soul is so black that it can change the dimension of all our work. There are a number of knowledge seekers which will not be allowed even near the center. They know why and they know the reason, as we test them and they fail the test over years, one after another. There are knowledge seekers who will be greeted with open arms. There are knowledge seekers as the world leaders who will come in and they will walk away till they find a way what they've done and how they have to do, and they will walk back into the position. There are many of you who walk in as a man and you walk out as the citizens of the universe. We have blessed souls who have been amongst us and in a way, in the background, have been through their soul seeing the transition. The blessed souls, people like Rick. Those who sat with us, amongst us, and went through the whole lot. These are part of the structure of the souls we brought with us to see this development through. We sit on the seat of justice. We sit on the seat of equality. And when you become the ambassadors of this planet, from next week, when you enter the zone and you enter the systems, your responsibility to human race, to yourself, and the citizens of this universe is the ethos of Zarathustra. Think good to add, talk good to elevate, and be good in a way that everything turns up good. The cycle of the progress of the man is complete. Now is what we call polishing it, adding to it. In the systems, when you enter, when you come out, you might speak a different language that nobody has ever heard, because this is the language when you went, that's where they spoke and you learned it instantaneously. You might go in the system, speak French, and you come out speaking Farsi because you wanted to be where Mitra came. That was your wish, and you learned it instantaneously. This is part of the education which we have brought in. This is part of the work we have brought in. I thank the work of the Keshe Foundation in Austria, the beautiful sort of class, the way relentlessly saw the whole progress and development of the technology step by step. These are blessed souls which we brought with us to complete the cycle. The physicality does not count, as it's a cover for the beauty of the soul within. We bring systems, new technologies in the coming time that will change the pattern, the structure of life on this planet as you bring it, as you add to it, as you, as the citizens of this planet, decide what is best for the ant, for the tree, for the fish, for the man. The planet Earth will become a beautiful haven for the citizens of the universe, not to enjoy the beauty of its physicality, but the sincerity and the purity of the souls which live within it. Now you understand why Mitra fell in love with Earth. And now you understand why the knowledge of the Creator released through mankind, as she fell in love not only with the beauty of this planet, but with the way the man loved. And she always wished that the Creator would love her the same. Now the children of Mitra are amongst us, and they'll bring a new cycle for man. It took one man, as they said, from Central Africa to become 7 billion of today. The life of the cycle of the children of Mitra has started, and a new race of man will be created that will bring the wishes and the love of Mitra, the beauty of the creation and the creator from every corner of the universe. We call you in today to tell you that not only the system is available, but you are the captains. Join us, fly for us, become our ambassadors, sit with us and change the man's world leaders. I want to know how many of you going into the systems from Monday will move, as is true wish of you, into the dimension of the soul strength of the Putin and Mr. Biden and President Xi of China and other world leaders, to bring them on the table of peace at the level of the soul and not at the level of physicality, that at the moment they can't even fly to see each other. They make threats on the voices of physicality of the man, but you make them to love each other on the level of the soul of the Creator. Now, the position of the technology is very clear. The flight systems are not going to be built, they are built. Very simple way. The enhancement units you see on this picture is not what you're walking into. You're walking into the field structure which no tangibility of the solid material can confine it. And in the future, even these structures will become fields on their own without physical structure. In a way, we embed you among the stars, that the collective soul of the systems with the soul of the man will lead to the maturity and understanding of the creation of the universe. The systems becomes the womb of the mother, and the soul of the man, at this maturity of age and physicality, becomes that soul of the child. We allow you to grow within the womb of the mother to attain physicality, maturity of physicality, to start the life on this planet. With this new enhancement centers and space systems, we take you back to the womb of the universe, and we teach you how to mature that soul. In one word, I welcome you as a human race into the dimension of the world of the Creator and not the universe. As you, once you reach the point of maturity, become part of the Creator that leads to the creation of the universe and universe. I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. And now we've done our job. We brought you step by step the technology, the understanding of interaction of the fields, the magraphs, the dynamic system, the ganses, the showing of the flight and the control of the environment through the Iranian defense technology of what we saw capturing. We have brought more and more. We have brought more that you will learn more in the coming time. Please understand that by entering into the systems from Monday on, you are the captain and you are the ambassadors of the human race in space. If you are worried to let me fix my physicality first and go to see if you can feed yourself, find a way that you don't need to eat food anymore, that's your prerogative. If you suffer from Alzheimer's and you go into your brain to find out where is the disconnection, That's your prerogative. You have your 30 minutes of fame, as they say, in the machine. Maybe you need 30 seconds. And then if you suffer from the conditions that has paralyzed you, the condition that's put you on the life threat, that is your process, is your understanding. The physicality does not want to have anything with the soul, has given you the cancer, because this way it can justify this condition. We are not there to decide. As I said, in these flight systems, there are no toilets, there are no feeding stations, there are no confession boxes, and there are nowhere to go except to the soul of the man. You might walk in and say, nothing happened, because this happens to those who are ignorant to confirmation of their existence. Some of you might walk with a lot of excitement. Some of you might go through the condition that, what have I left myself open to when I did not listen to mother when she was alive, and now having a lunch with her, now I understood. In the coming weeks, we will add to the number of these units, primarily around the world in Keshe Foundation centers. And then we'll build on it to make it gradually to the dimension every nation have a system. I came here thousands of years ago to develop this system, to mature the man, but we understood man has to mature step by step. From hunter and gatherer, to understand citizens and build cities, then to create the new communication systems, then understand he can fly. Then we taught you about the fields, and today we give you the fields of the space of the universe. Join us as fast as you can, learn from it, and then take the knowledge to see if through the learning of your souls, you can teach your nations, you can teach others in the universe. Many of you will find out when you're in the system, you're not the citizens of this planet in true essence. I promise my Creator that I'll bring freedom for those who became exiles from other points of the universe on this planet. And with this system, we give you a chance to return home, to find home and find out what happened to home. And if there is a home, and then instead of being locked in the physicality of the man on this planet, which is the suffering of it, you decide to move to another position in the universe where there is no suffering. There is no need for all the hullabaloo which the man has made. Many of you will come to understand you have been guests amongst us within the structure of the human race structure. We give you that freedom. And thank you for being a guest with us. We hope to see you soon. We hope to be in that dimension that we can meet again at the levels of the souls of the Creator and not in the physicality of dimension of the man. As I said many times to you, a large percentage of the people amongst you in soul are not on this planet. And now with this technology, we give them that freedom to go back or to choose a new place, not to suffer in the dimension of physicality of the man. This system is not developed just for the man. This system is not just developed for you to go in and see if I can get rid of one thing or add something else. The systems are built to mature the soul of the man, the fields which created the man and the dimension of physicality of the man. I'll be there on the 6th of June to welcome you, the first 10. Please do not turn up if you have not received an invitation, with the hope that you will get in. Please work with the Keshe Foundation team and follow the time schedule you're given to be there. If you have chosen a multiple, what we call testing, make sure you sort out all your accommodations and you are not a burden to us and yourselves. We open the doors of test center for all of you. We add more and more. Our production team was working literally round the clock, day and night. And the head of the production and head of the Keshe Foundation in manufacturing house sometimes doesn't even sleep, making sure every aspect is covered. We have put in a manufacturing production line, which we see we should be able to reach, to be able to add 2 to 4 maybe units a month, and then on a mass production with collaboration with corporations which we trust, governments which we trust, with the government of China, with collaboration with President Xi of China, with establishment of a new institute in China, with work with our team to build institutes in Arizona with John and with Yusuf in Tehran. We work relentlessly to build the first of these systems to be transported to Nigeria, to Alex, to bring the freedom to Africa, and the same with Raphael in South America. You can join us, be part of it, and add to it. We still are entangled in the dimension of physicality, and we have to be able to create that condition. At the moment, we allocated 10,000 hours of flight test, which means when we reach the 10,000 flight tests with you as knowledge seekers, then we look what we need to adjust in the follow-up system. And hopefully by September, October, we reach the point that the systems can be specified in a specific way for flight, destination point, flight, what we call enhancement soul point, systems for what we call medical and health applications, and systems for feeding and what are called cultivation. Man would not need to cultivate, but will enjoy it. We don't look at and look after a rose bush just because we're going to eat it. We look after it to create us the beauty of the flower it creates. Now human race reaches that point. Everything is done to enjoy the beauty and not to consume the beauty. This process has taken thousands of years for me to complete. Now it's completed. Now it's for you as a human race and those who are your guests to complete the knowledge of the universe. In a way, I have done my job, but I still keep an eye that the man does not make a mistake. Anyone uses this technology, which is released from now on, for harming, for wars, and for any other application, will bring them to the soul of those knowledge seekers that will never be elevated. And I've spoken with this very clearly. No man is allowed, no man will be allowed, no creation will be allowed to use this knowledge which we have released to harm another soul. No being is allowed to bring the suffering to another through this knowledge. I agreed with Iran using the technology to capture the drone. I disagree with Iran to use this knowledge in rockets to destroy bases where the human race lives in it. I advise the Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, the Iranian leadership, to withdraw from such an action. Otherwise, I have to take steps against their wishes and deprive this race of the knowledge. We gave you a gift, use it wisely. Share it with the Americans as you do with the Russians. Share it with the Chinese as you do with the Nigerians and the Brazilians. We gave Iran the first gift to become the leaders in peace, not to create another cycle. We do what we like and nobody can touch us. I do not agree. And my advice to the Iranian Sepah, the Iranian leadership is withdraw from this phase of work as you bring shame to the race which brought the knowledge. I go back to all of you. Try, when you're in the system, to reach to the soul of Christ, if you're a Christian. Try to reach the soul of Muhammad, bless his name, if you're a Muslim. Try to reach the true soul of Moses, not the Moses as a greeder and a killer. And then, in satisfying that you have seen what you loved, through him, see the love of the Creator and bring peace to your soul and the humanity. I told you, I'll bring you to the condition to see the Christ with your own eyes. It wasn't with your physical eyes, it was in the eye of the soul of the man. And now in these systems, you have the opportunity to do that. When you come back, when the Pope says something, you say, I've been with the Christ, there is no such a thing. And I'll take you to him. Because you have from now on that opportunity. If your wish is to see the beauty of the creation, do that. The reason we offered you 10 or 20 sessions is for you to satisfy different dimensions of ambiguities and anxieties and lack of knowledge, or extension of the knowledge which you wish to have. It's not just going in there and coming out, oh, I've been to such and such a place. It's for you to nourish your knowledge, it's for you to understand the work of your soul, and it's for you to extend it. I thank you for all of you as knowledge seekers being with me for years. I thank you as knowledge seekers in so many ways to suffer with me through the human suffering. And I thank you as knowledge seekers to be as part of the souls which we brought in different shapes and forms to bring the whole of the, what we call human race and the lives on this planet and the rest of the universe to the beauty of today. Join me on Monday the 6th in Keshe Foundation in Linz. And I'll take your first 10 through to understand, to know what you're doing, to teach you the ways. And if you go through the system, maybe twice in one day, and you see the elevation of the soul, the understanding of totality, and the change you can bring, then join the Keshe Foundation in the structure of change. Join us to bring peace to mankind. Join us to bring the knowledge and the beauty of the new technology to what we have. In so many ways, I have seen so much hardship and I have seen so much pain, and it's time to change. It's time to show the beauty of Mitra. It's time to show the beauty of man. And you are the ambassadors. You've been trained long enough on this planet to know what suffering is. You've been trained long enough to understand what the beauty of love is. And you learn this when you become ambassadors to make sure the other citizens of the world and the universe will never experience any pain. It's your responsibility to curb, to stop and bring change even into new races that every daily time created amongst the stars and galaxies and universes. It's your responsibility to become the nomads of the universe, to make sure that life from now on, it always starts with the beauty of the creation and no suffering. Otherwise, we have wasted our time teaching you all. Thank you for being with me, and I hope to see you soon in the first space flight center in the depths of the earth, and not on the roof of the man the way he thought he can fly. As I said, when you go into bed, many floors under the ground as a miner, your soul still travels beyond the rocks above you and goes to see the children at home while the father is in the depth of the mines asleep. We have brought you that knowledge. Not only the blanket under your head does not stop you dreaming, nor the dimension of the physicality of the building you are in it, and not even the restriction of the atmosphere of this planet. And now with the new knowledge, you decide where that soul goes in the universe. As I said, bring us back the dust of the where you go, a feeling of the love of where you go, that we add to the knowledge that how we have to live and how those who try to go in the dimension of physicality will fly. Thank you for being here, and I welcome you to a new cycle of the life of man with the fields of the universe, and not propulsion labs and the rocket technology which you so hard trying to achieve flight and did not manage to go very far. Now you understand. You have to see what the damage you can do to yourself and what achievements you can reach with it. Thank you very much, Rick, for today. And thank you very much for Klaus in Austria. And those who kept the flag of the Keshe Foundation flying, that it becomes the messenger of peace and unification of man and the universe. And thank you all to be there and to bring us to this point. Thank you, Rick. And we'll go through a small break with Enhancement Unit for our system. We'll come back to answer your many questions. And then we meet you on the promised day, the 6th of June. One day I will explain to you why I chose the 6th of June. 6th of June is the day when I left Iran. And it's strange enough, 6th of June 2008 is the day I returned back to it. 6th of June is celebration of the manifestation of Mitra within the physicality of acceptance of the life of the man. It's the birthday of the acceptance within the dimension of physicality of Mitra within the embodiment of the human race. And then you understand why we chose 6th of June. It's the time when the completion, transportation and interpretation of the science will complete itself. How did I know that 6th of June will be? Some months ago. It's what I promised. If I do, I wanted to be the change. I came to bring the change to my life, and I returned back to Iran to bring the change in the life of Iran. And I achieved all three. Please go through a break. We come back and we answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. So we'll be back after a short break and have an opportunity for questions and answers.
The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a space technology that allows you to work with the fields of the universe. Creating a wide range of plasma field interactions and conditions, it allows the body to process itself from any physical or emotional imbalance. Once this balanced condition is achieved, the soul and emotion of the man can follow to find their balance, elevating the whole of the man. The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit. Technology of the future through advanced plasma knowledge.
The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit. A plasma space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before.
Hey, welcome back to our flight test announcement workshop here on Saturday, May 28th, 2022. Okay, this is the part where people get to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. I remind our attendees, we have quite a few here today, that they can raise their virtual hands and then we can allow your microphone to open. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin?
Yes, ready, willing, and able, I hope.
Okay, well, we have a hand up here with Paulo. So let's start with that. Hello, Paulo. Can you open your microphone, please? Maybe it was a stray hand. Okay, we'll wait for Paulo. As our mentions in the chat, if there's any Farsi speaking people, if they have a question, they can ask in Farsi and Mr. Keshe can answer you in Farsi. And we translate if we need to. She says, thank you, Azar. We have a comment in the YouTube from AA. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'm afraid that the persons that are heads of state or heads of companies or head of whatever have no empathy in them, just the more achieved forms of psychopaths and greed.
That's not the exclusivity of the world leaders, and that's not exclusivity of heads of corporations. It's now that we have these systems, now that we can show you the way, it's your responsibility to reach them. You didn't know how to do it, you could not do it. Now you can. Now you have the facility to do it. Now you have the possibility to do it. When you have a cancer, you see it in the dimension of in your body, and you do something with it to change it. These are the cancers in the world of human race. You have to do something about it. Man has never stopped creating cancer with his body by evolution, by emotion, or by accident. And these people become that. We have it within our knowledge seekers. It is not that just because you became a knowledge seeker, your soul elevates. And it's just the industrial or the leadership. This is the part of the problem of today. And now with this system technology, you have a chance to learn, to become that ambassador, to find the strength of the each one, to elevate them from inside. Russian intelligence used to have a beautiful system and they had a beautiful ethos. If you cannot get to some of these world leaders, this was done blindly in the time of Gorbachev and before, was to find the taste of the man in the woman he likes, train him, and then put her in bed with the leader. And then you can influence and you can inform. We don't need to do this anymore. We need to understand why the soul of that world leader, that sort of industrial man, looks in such a way in the dimension of physicality. And stand for it to bring it back to the position. And you become what I call that, become that mistress in the soul to elevate the soul of these people, they'll change the dimension of physicality. All can be done. It's you who have to take that step, and it needs a lot of work to be done in all dimensions. It has to become ingrained in the ethos of the man, not forced to. We could have forced it, but they would have jumped out together. It's like trying to get a cat in the bag when there is another hole she can make to jump out. We have to make the cat to feel happy to be in the box, that it doesn't look for a way to jump out. And this is your job. Come in as a universal council members and reach the soul of the world leaders, because this is one of the beauties you carry. Come as knowledge seekers and reach that point. It's not up to the others to do it anymore and then I wait. It's your job to do it, and it's no time to wait. I see in one of the questions we just put in that if two people can enter the system, the flight system has been made for two. It was one for one till about a couple of days ago. And then we said, okay, can we have two? And yes, it's going to be two. At least one of the systems will have two seats. This is important for us to see if you take as a captain your passenger to where you went to. When you go to mom, that she doesn't go to her mom. We both go to your mom, and then we both go to her mom. So yes, we have foreseen this. We have to learn from this. And you can do in twos. We have facility for 4 in the spaceships, and we can accommodate more. But as I said, we have to do it step by step, that it doesn't become a magic, that everybody understands, everybody works on it, everybody can see further. I hope many of you have made the magravs and you're waiting for the power supply reduction. Now you understand the magravs are in essence for elevation of your soul in combination with the system, energy system of the space reactors. You bring your partner, bring your child, has to be over age of 18. Bring your mother. Mom, we are going to see Dad, passed years ago. And see if both end up in the same place, or none of you feel it, you never seen him, because his intention is that he does not want to be there. He's not ready for that encounter. Because he has no control to come back in the dimension of physicality, but you and the mother have. The envy of dimension of physicality to be with you is too much. The love of touching you in physical is too much that the soul does not accept. Maybe you entered with the wrong wish. Maybe you don't match together, oh, we're going to do this and we go in it together. It's not a competition. It's the agreement of the soul. We have to understand this. Come in as one. Bring your lover to see actually if that lover is what is going to last you a lifetime lover, and not just in the dimension of physicality. If you have actually found your soulmate. It is one of the beauties of the system. A knowledge seeker asked me, would you go into the system? And I said, if I go, I will not come back. Even my physicality might not be there for you to ever find. I am from another dimension and position, and I know my responsibility. And in time, I know where to go. In so many ways, we try to accommodate, we try to see, we try to build from one passenger to two, and then to many, that our captains learn how to handle other souls which are entrusted with, like the captains of the planes of today. You give your physicality entrusted in the hand of the captain, and it takes you that position. Any other question?
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hello, beloved. Magnet.
Yeah, we have many Chinese here.
Yes.
They have some question.
Yes.
One question is that June 6th is the day you meet Mitra first time?
It's June the 6th is when we got the agreement of what you call an agreement. Consensus of agreement that Mitra accepts the soul within the soul of physicality. Dimension of acceptance. Yes. It's a very profound day, and many of you in the future will understand. These are not all coincidental. It's the 6th of 6. It's part of the balance of the system. You will understand in the future that that number 6 has a lot of meaning for the cycle of Mitra and offsprings and the life in the universe. One day I will explain. You remember carbon 6.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. There's another question, is that to use the system to have the space travel, is that people can really bring something back from the planet?
Yes.
Back.
Yes, you can. Actually, the system design allows you to convert energies into matter. We designed it. The enhancement simulation is actually a craft. It's not a simulation as we say it, but it's the way you like understand, simulate the condition to learn. But it's designed, if you bring something back with you which wants to be in the dimension, can be in the dimension of the fields of the earth, yes. It's the knowledge with the matter state enhancement unit. It's the same knowledge, it's not something that is something we just dream about. If you look at the pictures, the enhancement unit is a material enhancement unit. You produce it in China, you're the head of Keshe, and you know how it's manufactured. The unit is designed to convert energy into matter. This design has been adopted in the new system, that if you come back with a matter state that wants to be here, can exist in the dimension of fields of the earth, yes, you can. It's part of design. If you have a piece of shrapnel in your body and you know it, which is dangerous for you, but it's been there, you can go within it and take it out as a matter of state when you come out. This allows you to do. This is the beauty of the new space reactor. If you are hungry, many of you, when you come out, before you go in, you're given a bunch of questionnaires to fill in at every stage. It's not that just you go into the system, but we want to know what you felt, how you went through it, that when you come out, these questionnaires will be collected from you. And read the contract. It's binding, it stays with the Keshe Foundation. And then we add up, we put these together, analyze what the data means, which part of the system we have to change. The new system in the test center is not rigid like the reactor, the enhancement unit C. It is flexible. The way it's designed by our team, you can adjust position of the reactor slightly. If you see people come in, but they cannot transmute or transportation of the fields to the matter state, we adjust it where we are wrong. We have a very flexible understanding structure that we can suit it. If one of the reactors needs to be the condition of the moon, we put you in there, we develop it, and then you see the condition of the moon when you are there, how you don't need a monkey suit to live, because you adjust your soul before you go. Now it's not a dream anymore. The systems are in Austria. The systems are in Linz, and it's the joy to see it thanks to hard work of the whole of the Keshe Foundation team around the world. In different pieces, the knowledge has been put together, and you see the collection of some thousands of years of the knowledge. Those who brought us the knowledge of the material, those who brought us the knowledge of the energy transfer in matter state, the beautiful soul of Tesla, and the rest. And then we see. One day, put the pictures of the Tesla and me next to each other. Maybe you understand whose soul is best. Any other question? It's the same soul. It's the same knowledge. Okay.
Okay, we have a similar question in the YouTube and in our chat here. A YouTube from C. Holter. I love to participate on the flight test on June 6th, but I need sponsorship for that. Is there any sponsorship available for a uni student like me? And from Boniface in the chat, can the knowledge seeker from low-income countries like Kenya who can't afford the ticket joyride without pay and explore?
We consider everything. At the moment, the whole purpose is to push through to gather as much knowledge and information and from all races. And the Keshe Foundation has done a lot of work in trying to bring equality in the financial position and what they call public status does not affect. Plus, there are many knowledge seekers who can support you here. There's a continuous chant by the Iranian team, by the Iranian knowledge seekers. I would like to explain to the Iranian knowledge seekers who are present and the rest that we reach you through the knowledge of the soul. Language is not the matter. There's a gentleman called here, everyone. Is Mr. Wahid Kabe. He said he has a question to ask. Would you like to bring him up? He's originally Farsi, he cannot speak English. Do you see him?
Okay. It shows up as guest instead of everyone in the with a hand up here, I believe. So yes, it seems to be the same Farsi name, however.
Yeah.
سلام های پروفسور.
سلام علیکم.
خسته نباشی، وقتتون بخیر باشه پروفسور. خیلی خوشحالم من الان دارم باهاتون صحبت میکنم. حقیقتش یکی از آرزوام برآورده شد. آرزوی دومم اینه که بتونم حضوراً شما رو در کشور عزیزمون بتونم حضوراً ببینم. عرضم به حضورتون آقای پروفسور به خاطری که وقت بقیه دوستان گرفته نشه یه خواهشی داشتم. حقیقتش ما کمی زبانمون ضعیفه. عرضم به حضورتون اگر لطف کنی به صورت بسته و مختصر در حد چند جمله‌ای در مورد صحبت‌هایی که کردید یه توضیح واسه ما بفرمایید ممنون میشم.
من با اجازه آقای حسن خان و آذرجان چهارشنبه در کلاس فارسی میام صحبت میکنم.
حضوراً تشریف میارید. ممنون، لطف میکنید. زنده باشید.
خیلی متشکرم. خیلی متشکرم. Mr. Kabe is asking if I can address the Iranian audience and the Iranian Keshe Foundation in Farsi. I explained to them that in the coming week, I will be going to the Iranian Farsi channel teaching with Azhar and Hassan to explain in more detail. We will attend from today, if by invitation of your teachings, to every channel. I will attend the American teaching tomorrow night. I'll attend the Vietnamese teaching next week. In the German, I attended yesterday to invite them to the meeting of today. I will attend to see them again. The same in every language workshops. I'll try to attend on Wednesday with Rick's teaching to bring more explanation to those of you who understand. We have opened a Pandora box of knowledge and we have to support it heavily. And I'm sure we can do so. We are trying to attend and be present if you send me what we call the links and the time and the space is there to attend your teaching, to answer you in your language, the Italian, the Spanish, the Portuguese. I will attend 100% this Friday teaching with Raphael. And we try to explain, because you have to understand what has come. It's not exclusively of English. And this will take shape the same right across the Keshe Foundation in any language. I will attend if the Chinese set up a program for it to answer to the Chinese community. We have been asked, requested, or invited, either way you put it, by the Chinese government through the military, people who we know in the past week, to open a Spaceship Institute in China. Our response to the Chinese government and authorities and the people who have approached us through military or been close friends to us in the rank of generals in the Chinese army, our response is positive. Keshe Foundation will keep hand and support the beautiful structure of the Chinese leadership. I supported the Chinese leadership for a long time because I believe in what is done the correct way, even though it doesn't look to some of you outside. And we will establish an institute within by the invitation we have received from the Chinese authorities. Mungin, if you want to elaborate on that, or you want to keep it as it is.
Oh, yes, Mr. Keshe. There's
don't go to detail. Do not go into the detail, please.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you want me to say?
Don't release any names or positions.
Yeah, I know. So actually, they want to invite you to set up an institution in Academy Harbor. And it's a beautiful place. They have all invited all the scientists and academicians, especially has the title of academicians from all over the world, to have a lab in that area. So they want to invite you to set up a lab in China in the academician hub.
Can you explain what academician is in English language? We don't understand it the way you understand it in Chinese.
Academician is a title in China. Actually, it's like how to say
Experts.
It's far beyond the experts. It's like the most highest scientist or research in China in some institution can get that the name.
Thank you very much. As you heard, you can convey back our message to the general that we respond positive to open the institute. This knowledge has to be shared with Chinese. They are the old culture and they understand the essence of the interaction of the field. Thank you very much. And any other question?
Okay, perhaps we can hear from Paulo again if he had his microphone open earlier. Paulo, are you able to open your mic right now?
Can I, before he goes there, please, those of you who want to participate, go into the store of the Keshe Foundation. You have an option of 1 session, 5 session, 10 session, or 20 session. And take your option. We foresee for next weeks and months to be fully booked. There are many people who want. Some of you might come for because you have a desire to see the elevation of your soul. Some of you come because you want to stop eating and you find a way to feed yourself through the soul. Some of you come because you have a dimension of the what we call health problem. Some of you will come that because you have an emotional problem. Come in, book yourself, and let us see how this system is built. Is for one way or another. What we learn from this will go into the structure of the physical class. That the man in space, if he decides does not want to travel in the dimension of the soul, we can perfect the system. That they can be get rid of the cancer in the space. They can be get rid of a emotional problem in the space. They can be get rid of the hunger in the space. This is not for you just to come in. You are test pilots, and you have to report back what you saw in the test, what you learn in testing, and share it. This is the whole purpose. It's not just that you come in to go through the enhancement center and go through the system. It's for us to see how correctly set the system, how better we can make it, and how efficient it is. Why you go in and you don't feel anything? What have we missed? Which strength of the fields we haven't built in? Why you go to the moon and come back and you bring maybe some dust and no dust? What do we need to adjust? We know you cannot bring your father back with that Francesco. This is clear. We do not allow, we cannot allow the resurrection of the body. If the physicality and the soul are separated. The only reason you can come back is because your soul and soul of physicality are together. So we want to understand more. We want to understand how you can see a seed within the stone, that it can have a flower and it doesn't happen, and you can bring it out for us to see how it's done. A new knowledge, a new dimension of understanding has opened up. And none of you are magicians. We have created a condition for you to create that magic. That we can explain that there is no magic, it's just that we have to understand the process. Many of you will bring back with you passengers of the space. I promise you, many of you will come back falling in love with other creatures and want to bring them here because you want to see what their fields do not match the strength of this planet. It's our job to bake that fish tank. Then we don't make them a prisoner, but instead if they want to come and visit and go. There's a lot to be added to this technology. A lot more. But we start with a small step. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Paulo, are you able to open your microphone?
Still no.
Mm.
Maybe you have to let his soul to speak.
Hi, Mr. Keshe. I think Chinese today, they are very active.
Pardon?
I say Chinese are very active to ask a question today.
Go on, ask us the question what Paolo is trying to fix this one.
Yeah, one knowledge seeker asked, when we do the soul traveling to the destination, is that possible? He will stay there for a long time, but when he come back to Earth, it seems just several seconds.
Pardon?
His means if he arrive in a destination, stay there for a long time, but when he come back to the Earth, it's just seems like just several seconds passed. Is that possible?
Yes, yes, it's not possible, it's the reality. I have asked the Keshe Foundation team not to disturb when people are in a flight condition. We place 2 lights in the front of each test unit. When you're near 30 seconds, you put the light on. If you like to terminate or say goodbye to Papa, I have to go, because you accepted the responsibility to read the dimension of your physicality 30 minutes, be it. If you take longer, we can't drag you back. But if you see abuse, we surely do. But in essence, we put half an hour. You might after 5 minutes be so much you can't take and you come out. And then you go for another session a few hours later, because now you can handle the emotion. You did not expect to really physically see your mother in front of you. Now you do. We have knowledge seekers who've been through this. And they sat, and the mother and father physically, as they are present in them, they could sort out the problem of the past. They could not talk when they were in the dimension of physicality, and they find peace, all of them. It's not a fairy tale. They're here. If they want, they can come and explain. We set the time, but we would not separate the soul from the soul of physicality. Or maybe it's too nice, I want to stay, I'm not going back. Sorry, excuse me, we only have 2 systems at the moment. Come back next time. Come back on the next session to understand more. Fine. There's so much with this new technology that man cannot understand. You can enter, somebody asks, can we 2 of us go into the system? You only as a husband and wife. And now that you can create the children of man in the dimension of the soul of the man, create that child within the system, understanding the interaction of the souls. And then you come out in cycle of the life of the man, 9 months later, you'll have that child. But now the seed of the soul is set first, and then the physicality takes shapes within the womb of the woman. This has been done. It's not fairy tale. There is so much changes about to come. The beauty of it is man now can enjoy both the dimension of the physicality and the dimension of the soul. And this is what we wanted. You want to still enjoy the beauty of the woman. You still want to enjoy the handsomeness of the man you love. You still want to enjoy the beauty of the trees and the flowers and the animals, the sound of the bird. That doesn't happen in the dimension of the soul. You want to hear it, that you elevate your soul. Now, with this new technology, we give you that chance. We create the new race of the man. You are not aware of what I have brought you. You haven't even touched the surface, let alone going into the depth of the knowledge. Is Paula ready to go, or do you have any more questions from Chinese? I have to thank the Chinese community. You stood by us, very solid. I took the Keshe Foundation into most hardest part in past 8-9 months to create a condition that it can become the process of a lot of things for all of you around the world. And a few days ago, I said to one of the knowledge seekers, you know something, I've become a man. I'm trying to clean up the mess of the man in the past instead of bringing in the new knowledge which I brought and completed, that the man changes itself. Do we need the factories? Do we need all this hullabaloo and the rest of it that I have to suffer so much? And those around us, and especially the Chinese team. We strive to bring a change, but in a way the change had to come through the technology and the knowledge. And we'll see what comes up in the coming time. I've had one of the most profound experiences in the past 6 or 8 weeks in understanding that within the knowledge seekers, there are totally different people than we see them in dimensional physicality. Those are who are sincere, and those who have been there to benefit in different dimensions. And those are there to serve, to bring the change. Does not matter what comes. I thank you, all of you, all in other conditions, whatever you brought us a lot of understanding, which will be put into it. The beauty of the new system is that we build emotions into the system. It has already been built. And in a way has come with the touch of the people who build the system, with a lot of love and care and their emotion, which is passed on into the system, that become the backbone of you. When you go in, you learn sincerity, devotion, you learn from their soul, which their fingerprints on it, the love to bring the change. It's an amazing process. It's an amazing process if you understand. Fingerprint is not just a mark, it's the transmission of the essence of the emotion of the soul too. You look at the print, I look at the feelings. Any other question?
We have a hand up here, but before we get to Hussein, I'd like to deal with a question from Christiane in the chat, and a similar question in the Q&A, which is about the physicality. Christiane in the chat says, I have cells which are informed with brutal anger, and as a result, I can no longer reach myself positively. This is a translation, a rough translation of the German, by the way. Also vitamins, etc., nothing works anymore. Can I lovingly cleanse my cells? Can I use it to reach other people? And a similar question from Christina in the Q&A. Hello, is it a procedure that heals also physical problems by balancing the fields?
These are not medical systems. These are field processing systems. I always said, we are not doctors. We haven't made medical system. We have made universal system to balance fields, and you have to find that balance within maybe the soul of physicality. Maybe as the guy said, his anger, when he goes to the first presetting of going into the system, he finds out where the problem is. He realizes it, and then going through the system, he handles it. He'll come out a different man. It's not that if I go without one leg, I'll come back with the leg on it. We are not offering a health system. This is a misconception. We offer a system that you find your health in satisfaction of your soul, not with us. You can go in the system with a small cancer and come up with a bigger cancer because really your physicality wants to die, wants to get rid of this physical dimension because you hated your son so much that you created that prostate cancer. You don't want to hate, you don't want to live to hate anybody more than that. What the system allows you to find out, was the source of the hate false? Or was it me wanting more and could not give, and I made it to hate because then I could confirm my existence? And you come out understanding a bit no cancer. We are not doctors. We are not offering a health system. We are offering a system where it feeds you, it balances your energies between your soul, the soul of physicality, and physicality. Unfortunately, many of you haven't understood, or maybe understood. You don't have cancer in your soul. Because any ambiguity, any new formation is handled, accommodated, and lived with. You have that in a dimension of physicality. And that's why you go through this process of anger and cancer and that stuff. How many of you will go in with the blood pressure and come out with no blood pressure? Because you managed, it's a psychosomatic. We elevated the soul. Soul has no pressure to put on. Nothing on the soul of physicality. A lot you will learn from this technology. A lot you will learn from this technology. Okay, we wanted to add somebody.
Okay, let's allow Hussein to have something to say here. Go ahead, Hussein, your microphone is open now.
سلام دکتر، عرض ادب و احترام. نهایت ادب رو پذیرا باشید و من فقط واسه اینکه وقت دوستان گرفته نشه خلاصه میکنم، اگر فقط بدونید خیلی دوستتون داریم. سوالی که خدمتتون داشتم آقای دکتر در مورد بحث قصد و نیت فردی روی اون محصول نهایی پلاسما، حالا چه گنس میتونه باشه چه هر چیز دیگری. یعنی اینکه اگر من در یه حالت عادی آشفته و اون چیزی که در حالت روزمره ما دوچارش هستیم بیام یک گنس رو بخوام یه ستاپ رو بذارم به عنوان مثال و اینکه من بیام خودم رو به نوعی لحاظ روحی پالایش بکنم، در یه حالت فرکانس حالا بالاتری قرار بگیرم، بر اساس تعالیم روح هم عمل بکنم و بعد از اون بخوام یک ستاپ رو بگذارم، اینها آیا تفاوتی با یکدیگر میکنند یا خیر؟ چون
100%.
این رو چون من به صورت شاهدی نداشتم ولی احساسی این رو
ببخشید بذارین ترجمه کنم و برمیگردم. What is asking is that if we have a problem, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Keshe.
Yeah. What Mr. Hassan is asking you, Farsi, is that if I have a anger emotion or whatever, in essence, and I make a gans, would that emotion affect the gans? Or if I elevate myself and I make the gans in a good mood, in a positive mood with wanting to help, would that make a different gans? I said, yes, it does. Your emotion affects the ganses you make. آقای حسن خان بذارید براتون به فارسی الان ترجمه میکنم.
متوجه شدم آقای دکتر.
خواهش یک دقیقه صبر کنید براتون بیشتر از اینی که داریم میگیم براتون ترجمه کنم. یک دقیقه صبر. I always say, and people who've been around me, I don't make systems, I don't make ganses if I don't feel correct. I don't hug my children if I don't feel correct. I don't get involved in something if it doesn't feel good for me to do. Because I pass that emotion to them. They're another gans, they're another feeling, they're another emotion. And this is what a lot of people do not understand. I refuse to hold my children when I'm in a position which I take from them. because as a father, I have to give. And this brings a lot of stress to me. Of course we do, because it's another GANS. It's the same GANS, it's the same child. In half an hour, in an hour, and next day, that stress goes, becomes happiness. I give to them. What we make as GANSes, in the emotion we make it because we are interacting with it, affects them. آقای حسن خان براتون ترجمه کنم. ببینید من حتی موقعی که احساس میکنم که شاید ناراحتم یا هرچی، حتی بچه های خودم رو بغل نمیکنم.
بله.
برای اینکه میدونم اون حس رو به اونا میرسونم. ممکنه نیم ساعت یک ساعت بعد حسم جور دیگه ای باشه، اون ناراحتی که بوده وجود نره، فقط عشق و محبته. بچه‌مو با عشق و محبت قبول میکنم، چون وظیفه منه که فقط برم نه بگیرم. موقعی که شما ناراحت هستین ازشون میگیرین.
بله.
این خیلی مهمه. این خیلی مهمه و شما همون کارم بگن، چون بدن اون وجود یه گنسه، کلکشن یه مجموعه یه گنسه و این اثر رو داره و همونجور هم هست مثل گنسایی که میسازن. خیلی متشکرم برای سوالت.
میتونم یه سوال دیگه بپرسم آقای دکتر؟
بفرمایید.
خواهش میکنم. در رابطه با بحث استفاده نظامی از دانش پلاسما هست. اینکه خب به هر حال این دانش هم مثل هر دانش دیگه‌ای میتونه وجه‌های مخربی داشته باشه. مثل دانش هسته‌ای. آیا ما چه تضمینی میتونیم داشته باشیم که این دانش حالا توسط قدرتمندان
روح من
بله
نه. اجازه نخواهد از این گارانتی بزرگتره داشتم.
همین، فقط من چون خیلی نگران بودم که این علمی که اینقدر پاک بر اساس نیت ها میتونه تاثیر بذاره. ممنونم آقای دکتر، من عرض دیگه ای ندارم. سپاسگزارم از محبتتون.
What Mr. Hassan has a second question. He says, with the knowledge you give that can be used by military against another lie, what guarantees do we have that it will not be done? And I said, I gave that promise with my soul. That's the only guarantee you need. Any other question? This is the prerequisite condition. When I went to Iran in June 2008, I did not jump into bed with the Iranian government. I refused to just explain to them, and then they saw the beauty in it. Let me explain to you a historical point from the Keshe Foundation. I was invited by the Korean government to go to Korea. In April, May, I traveled to Korea with the invitation of the leadership of Korea, from South Korea. An accident happened. I had an accident. I had to go through an operation, and I had to leave Seoul back to Europe because of the accident after the operation. Prior to my leaving, the head of American naval forces in South Korea, which is responsible for protection of the state of South Korea, called me in the sickbed and said, Mr. Keshe, you're leaving tomorrow. You cannot leave till you meet with us. They asked me to attend a hotel called Hamilton Hotel in Seoul. Those of you who know Seoul is a military headquarters of the what they call American forces. I attended a meeting in Seoul, and they asked for my translator to be removed, and they wanted to meet one-to-one. They brought some of the leading scientists from American intelligence naval forces, Pentagon, into a room. After a long discussion, I explained to them, if I give you the knowledge, you will use it against humanity, and this cannot be done. The head of American forces explained to me in a very simple way, Mr. Keshe, you cannot take this technology to Iran. I said to him, I have not been to Iran for 33 years, and there is no intention. I love my nation, I'm Yemeni, and I will not betray my nation. But I haven't been for 33 years. He said, we just advise you, do not share this technology with Iran. It's not good for you. That was in April. I returned back because of this operation in Seoul by the military. I was operating in the military hospital in the deep basement of operating rooms in the hospital. They had to do a small operation back again on my foot in Belgium. At that point, I needed my passport, my birth certificate for registration of documents. I've never been to the Iranian embassy for years. I went to the Iranian embassy in Brussels, asking for a birth certificate, not knowing anything else. As I walked in the embassy, I paid the fee. The gentleman said to me, "Excuse me, can you wait a second? There is something we have to tell you." He said, "Can you come through the back door upstairs? The ambassador wants to meet you." I said, "I just came from my birth certificate." He said, "We cannot give you a birth certificate. You have to meet with the ambassador." I met with the Iranian ambassador in Brussels. He explained to me that the government of Iran calls me back to Iran to develop my technology. I said, "I'll think about it." They set up 3 teams to get me attracted back to Iran in time to get because it was important for me to get my birth certificate for what I wanted to do in Belgium. One of these teams was headed by Mr. Mohammad Sajjadi, who became the Iranian ambassador to Moscow. As I went back to Iran later on, he asked Ayatollah Khamenei and President Ahmadinejad, asked him, "If you can get Keshe to Iran, we give you what you like." And when I arrived in Tehran, they explained to me that he wished to become the ambassador of Iran to Moscow. He's a nanotechnologist. He was taking my technology and converting it into the Iranian language. That's how Iran became heading the Iranian nanotechnology in the world for 15 years. After negotiation with Iran, going back, I found myself on the 6th of June, a month later, in Tehran, in a way to get my birth certificate. And on my arrival in Tehran, I was put on a high-level national security protection. I was given a floor in the top hotel in Iran, emptied. I'm the only person there. They emptied even the floor below, on the 14th floor. And on the next day of arrival, I knew this hotel because I arrived by 1 o'clock in the morning in a hotel. I lived in that area. I was brought up. I knew the hotel. I used to go there for breakfast with my father at the ex-Hilton Hotel of Tehran. And in that process of arriving, they asked me to go to a meeting to meet welcoming parties back to Iran. They wanted me for a meeting. The next day, I attended a meeting. There were 7 people sitting in the room. 5 of them, I came to know they are the chancellors of the 5 leading universities in Iran. One being Sharif Tehran University, the Azad, and the others. They asked me to explain what I have discovered. They want to understand. They had a blackboard and everything like in the room. I went for a meeting, but it turned up to be actually an interrogation, I call it scientific based. I explained to them how the gravity is created, what we think it is and how it is, and we are setting up to build up reactors to confirm it. We have built some systems. Anyway, this discussion goes on for about 2 or 3 hours, and then they said it's lunchtime. We went on the lunch table, and they knew exactly what I love in Iranian food. It was just exactly, they were trying to get to me through my stomach. And then the 7 people started introducing themselves. The head of the Office of Iran President, delegation from the Office of Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, the 5 chancellors of the Iranian top universities. They explained to me, we are here to assess. If we get the 3 votes right from the 5 chancellors, you stay, we develop. You have discovered the gravity and the other technologies. If we come with 2, we thank you for coming to Iran. And while we were having lunch at the table, one of the professors was bending next to the table, saying his prayers, the other one was eating, the other one was whatever. They start giving a vote, and one by one, the first one said, you have discovered the gravity. I salute you and I accept you. I accept your technology you have discovered. I got the award from the second, I got the award from the third, I got the award from the fourth. The fifth one, the head of one of the leading universities, Mr. Keshe, you have discovered and you have brought Iran great grace. But I'm retiring next month. If I accept you, I have to stay in the university. But you have 4.5, because the 5, if I give you, I have to stay because I'm responsible for you. And he had to stay because he became responsible for me. And we set up to do the development of what you see now as part of Iran Defense University, Defense Program, whatever it is that now has been announced in what they call military papers in 10th of February of last year that I brought such a technology. Iran confirmed after 10 years of my living in Iran that they received such technology from me. The beauty of it was that Americans, months before, knew Iranians had set up to capture me, to take me back to you. I didn't need to be captured. I went with the beautiful willingness to get my birth certificate and brought the knowledge back to Iran. Our world leaders are aware of each other's action. Our world leaders know what they are going to do with each other because they know each other so well from childhood, and that program of intelligence they have is for us not to fall within these gaps and make sure the target is. And when I came to an agreement on that lunch table, I said to the representative of Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, the representative office of the research and development of the presidential office of Ahmadinejad, I want a signed contract. I'm not here getting excited just because you allow me to develop. I want a signed, agreed contract that my technology will not be used against humanity and my terms. It took us 3 weeks to sign this contract. They wrote it, they brought it back. You see it in the movies, people come with a handcuff, with a chain in the suitcase. We had that because it was carried on the laptop. It wasn't written. They bring the laptop, I adjust what I want, it goes back to them. And they had a huge problem. I don't read Farsi so good. So they had to do it in English, translation to Farsi. They could read what they were talking, I could read something like that. And then, after 3 weeks, we agreed. It was signed by Ahmadinejad's head of the research. And then it was sent to the Iranian Parliament Security to be agreed and registered, because I wanted the nation to be agreed to it, not the president. So I am not talking about the peace today just because it suits. I lived with the office of Ahmadinejad, with the signatory from the office of the Khamenei of Iran through the Iranian Parliament. And the strange thing is, when we signed it, they said, we need to get it endorsed. Can we have it back? Because now it's signed. They never brought it back. Because they said, we signed ourselves to it. We don't want this to be leaked outside. Now you understand that we are committed to peace in writing with Iran. And if the Iranian leadership breaks that rule, they do not want to see what we did with the waste of Moses. You've seen them, nomads around the world for centuries. The Iranian leadership cannot break to what they signed themselves into, especially Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran. We sign an agreement, we stick to that agreement. The knowledge of Keshe Foundation by Iran has to be to show its beauty and nothing else. Any other question?
Okay, we have 3 hands up here from Thomas, Azar, and Moshfek. Thomas, if you can go first.
By the way, I got my birth certificate after I signed the contract. Now you know.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This is Ed from Indiana. My name on the is Thomas on the this particular sign-in. But anyway, I'm wondering, when do you expect there to this to be available in the Arizona facility?
We do not know. We do not know. We have to come to an agreement with the American government. This is a high intellectual system. We have to come to an agreement with the provider. John knows. The first person I called to tell him that the system is ready to go is John. I work very closely with John.
Of course.
Then I informed the Iranian head of the team. The Chinese know, and that's how it is. We do not expect any movement of technology. The 10 units which are built for Arizona, I told to John, I'm going to use them here in what you call it, in Lens till it's done. John is fully aware of my work. I sometimes talk to him on a daily basis. He is not only the head of the Keshe Foundation in the US, he is the CEO of the Market Corporation, which is a representation of the Keshe Foundation in the industrial side. So we don't expect anything soon unless we reach understanding with the American government in bringing peace. We are not looking for taking sanctions off. The peace now has become more complicated with Russia and Ukraine and Iran. It's all become a big mess.
Yeah. So is it dependent mostly on the political situation, as you just said, or
no? It's
no.
It's not political. It's not using the technology into weapon. Americans have a habit. The minute they get a hand on something, they weaponize it.
Yes.
Then they think they're in power. We have the same thing. We didn't know till very recently one of the top Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers was working for them. And how we lost and we got involved in the loss of the technology to Teflon. Very amazing. How in past few weeks we understood more that how knowledge seekers have been working as knowledge seekers but intelligence for Americans.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we get a guarantee from Biden's office that the technology will not be used, we have a guarantee from Obama, and Biden used to be his second in command. I need the agreement with Biden and the Senate that none of the Keshe Foundation technologies will ever be weaponized. You'll have it tomorrow. I don't care if there's a peace talk between Iran or not.
Yes.
We use this to achieve that. Your Americans reach the sort of your leaders, brings us an agreement, and we gladly transfer technology.
So I think I understand, but the essence of my question was, I understand that, I mean, for people, the initial entrance into these units takes oversight and understanding. I mean, you're going to be there personally, right? And
on Monday, the 6th, I will be there personally because our team has to learn how to use the system and they have to adjust systems.
Right.
And we have 2 or 3 knowledge seekers who have built the system up and they know if there's an adjustment, if there is a failure. You have to understand there is a big problem. We expect a big problem. We are interfacing a plasma technology with a matter technology. You understand?
Yes.
And it takes a lot of, some of you might walk in with energy which is not fitting or the system cannot absorb and change something. You understand? We have to understand where the change comes from. This is all the things we are looking for.
Yes, and so I understand that the oversight is critical, especially in the initial stages, till you have the thousands of examples and feedback and everything. So how are we to duplicate this oversight in different locations?
That's the job of the Keshe Foundation.
Okay.
That's our job. That's our job through our systems, to our technology, to our sharing. Just try to get into lists as many as you can.
Okay.
You go for pilgrimage, you go for spending time to go, God knows, doing whatever. Make that trip. Add to the knowledge we need. We have to collect a balanced system of knowledge. It cannot be all European. We need the Africans, we need the Americans, we need all of you. We need the Chinese to enter these systems.
How,
Pardon?
no, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
This that we bring, we make a system that now we work as one nation and as an open nation. Before it was NASA, Americans doing it, there was Chinese doing it. Russian knowledge seekers, get yourself to LINS as fast as you can. Maybe through you, we can reach the world leaders in Moscow. It's your responsibility. We have facilitated it. Knowledge seekers in Moscow wanted to go to Tehran. You are a knowledge seeker in Ukraine, knowledge seekers, get yourself in, bring us that position. You are knowledge seekers in the United States, get yourself to LINS. Maybe through you, through the essence of the soul of understanding the culture, you can reach your leaders. We can change the position. We can learn something, how to learn. The thing is, I have the knowledge. It's easy for me to do. But our technicians, our scientists have to understand it, that they can develop what fits the man. This is not a joke anymore. We never went in, we put the enhancement out 2 years ago. We never let anybody in. The only person who's been in the enhancement unit sat is the head of the Keshe Foundation, Ella. The only person we allowed to sit in the operating side of the enhancement unit is the head of the Keshe Foundation. And you see her with that red dress. Get yourself into LINS. Is a must, is not an option. Doesn't matter wherever you are, Iranians, Arabs, black, white, we need this to be completed. We allowed 10,000 hours of it. We've done a lot of this work in China. A lot of knowledge of development of the new enhancement unit comes from our experience and work in China when you saw that man walking from the wheelchair. But these are totally new. You don't see any motors anymore, as you don't see motors in space. We have brought interaction of the fields of the matter and the fields together, which has never been known before. Because the interaction of the two brings us to what they call the soul of physicality. It is your responsibility to get yourself to LINS. If you are a true knowledge. To add to this. You see, for next 3 months, Austria is an open door. They took all the corona restrictions away. And you saw us 2 years ago when we brought the first enhancement unit, how the Belgians jumped all the way trying to block it. They did everything, and the German Peter group, they want to stop. But we are part of the organization, we are a company, we are registered, we work within the limits of our license and certification. They can't do anything. The devils have gone back to Belgium. And they live as part of Peter House in Germany. It's our responsibility to bring the sanity back to humanity. Get yourself at any shape or form for 5 sessions, 10 sessions, 1 session to add, to bring, because there's something, let me explain to all of you to understand. When you come to the center as a Chinese, when you go into the system as a Chinese, you interact with the system, and you remember, always said, once you establish a link, always there stays a link. Now the next person is an American. The next person is Iranian. You all build that system because now that system has created a connection with the Chinese, with the Iranian, and everything else. Then we get the essence, we download these systems and we build new systems from them that allows the totality of the races of the man to be in. This is why we ask you, come from different backgrounds of every nation to us, not just because, oh, one American's already been there. You're a American, Polish, German. The other one is American, Irish, English. Different structure of soul. This is why we established the Universal Council on the Language and District. Your English-speaking Canadian area, your English-speaking American area. The sidewalk and the pavement is the same thing, but understood totally with the other languages.
So, Mr. Keshe, when we come to Lentz, how long should we allocate to be there?
You decide.
Decide.
You decide.
Okay.
You decide how many times you have blocked yourself into 5 sessions, because you're paying for these sessions.
So if
And
you have 5 sessions,
we try to do it one a
a
day.
day?
One a
One a-
day.
Yeah.
The ones which, let me explain to you with the test we did in China. We did a 2 sessions a day, and that's the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, one session you want to fly, next session you have a cancer, you want to see how it looks, next session you want to feel, how does it feel if you have a child with your lover or with the mother, how will it be done? One session is you want to go and reach a world leader. One session you want to go to the moon. One session I want to go to the moon, I got halfway there, it didn't happen, now I want to repeat it. It's your, we don't give you. You are the captain. You decide where to go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Make as much as you can to bring this, that we can bring the change. I've done everything possible in the physicality to be done. It's your turn to bring the rest. And we have allocated 10,000 hours for a good collection of times. We keep on adding to the systems, make it 4, make it 6, make it 10. That 10 gives us 80 hours a day, 500 more or less a week. And in 10 weeks, we get the 5,000 and 10,000. It has to be done. Our team doesn't stop. We have set up a production line. And thanks to Klaus and the team behind him, they can meet it. Now they're learning more, and the process of the system has changed. Make your way to Lentz if you are there to change the humanity in yourself and the rest. We've done our part. This is now knowledge seekers' part. And don't come with expectation. Come there to add to the what we call humanity.
Thank you very much. I'm done, Rick.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Ready for another question, Mr. Keshe?
Yep.
Okay, we have Azar now, and then Mashfaq and Gatwa.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This question was placed in the chat by Mason from Iran, but you didn't see it, so he asked me to ask you. On June 6th, the first day, is it going to be televised or just it's going to be private?
No. We keep everything private. We try to keep everything out till we know exactly where we are. Maybe we share with you in the following Thursday some information, but we have to understand, and we don't want to make celebrities, other people put them under pressure. You have to understand, when we put somebody out, the habit of knowledge seekers and those in Germany and Belgium is to attack them, or to pressurize them, or to interest them. I want to know one more. If you look at the registration, you sign an agreement that no information can put out except the Keshe Foundation, KF TV, and Plasma Times, that with data we release. We have to look for collective. If you come back with a sand from Mars, you cannot show it. We don't confiscate it, but we ask you please to hand it over. That we can get it confirmed where it comes from. What is the content of? If you come back with some liquid we've never seen before, we would like to test it to you. But oh, I went to I just happened to land somewhere by mistake. I brought something. Maybe you come back with an animal. We don't know. This is the reality of the new space travel. The first time you take off, you don't land properly, or the flight doesn't go according to what you wish. You have to learn it. You have to adjust it. How to extend the soul. Sometimes the first test, the first flight is most dangerous one than ever. I've done that. I went to become a pilot at Biggin Hill in London when I was a student. And the first flight, I came across a jumbo jet coming from the other distance. The teacher said, "Let it go. I have to take over." It didn't go as good as I thought. I thought I'll fly the jumbo jet, stick into it somewhere. So you come in to experience and to add. We keep it. We try not to create celebrities that then some people then add, exaggerate other things to it, and some people don't. 1 in 1,000 of you will come back with material if you manage to bring that essence. There's a technique to it. And when you bring it, it has to have a consent of, not just because you wanted to bring it. Otherwise, you won't see it. You don't drag a girl to your mom and say, "This is my girlfriend." She has to walk in as a girlfriend. As simple as that.
Mr. Keshe, this is my question. Is it possible to see the creator?
If you understand it, yes. There's no limitation to these systems. If you wish to see Christ, you will see the Christ. And ask him, did the Last Supper happen? It was Ascension of Christ on Thursday. I was explaining to one of the people who's close to me what and how and the reason he was put on the cross. And he said, "Why don't they tell us this in Christianity? Because if they tell you, then you will not be a Christian, would you?" Why the Romans put the Christ on the cross? Because the Jews asked for it, otherwise they were going to have a revolution, because Jesus loved women. And he had too many pleasure with the richest women in Palestine. And they wanted to see the end of him. He was so handsome, they couldn't stop him. They did the deal. We do a revolution when you put him on the cross. They put him on the cross. That's the only reason Christ ever went on the cross. The pleasures of the physicality took over.
Mr. Keshe, may I translate this in Farsi for them, the answer you had for televised?
Go do it, and do it in the teaching of Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
Okay, moving into Moshfek now.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. My question is concerning, you mentioned about something you mentioned earlier about there is a flaw in the universe, or at least at the planetary level. Now, somebody...
We are fixing that. We are fixing that.
So,
you knowledge seekers, without knowing it, you are fixing it.
Okay, so then there is really no question, because I was wondering whether this will help in achieving that goal.
Yes, partially you can, but it has to be the soul of the man who's connected to the soul of the planet to be able to do it. Somebody from planet Zeus cannot do it for you because they don't have that connection.
So then I have another question. As I have hinted earlier, it appears that my soul, I can travel with my soul at specific location. I mean, it's just a foretaste of it. So what difference does this spaceship system bring with respect to what one can do with one's soul, the travel?
This is what we said, is for those who cannot do. If you have managed to achieve and you can get to that point, you don't need. If you have a private jet, would you go in a public plane?
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I had.
Yeah. But the thing is, sometimes you think you have a private jet. That's the other point too. Any other question, please? Or shall we call it a day?
Well, we need to get Gatawa in here for sure.
Yep. And we know what he's going to ask.
Good day, Mr. Keshe. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you very much, Dr. Kat.
Good. Now that you know what I'm going to ask, I'm not going to ask because it's already known. But then I just wanted
I know, but you have to tell the other people.
Well, I was going to, before I ask, I really wanted to thank you very much for bringing the whole world to, and probably even beyond the whole world, to this condition, to this evolution of science. And we very much look forward to evolving our souls with your technology. Now the question, the part you knew was, of course, when do we expect it in Kenya? Thank you very much.
When the Iranians have it, when the Americans have it, when the Kenyans have it, when the Chinese have it. It's very interesting. Let me see if she's still here. Yeah, Wang Lin is still here. Wang Lin, would you like to explain it or I'll do it? I'll do it and then you can confirm it or stay quiet either way. A few years ago, Wang Lin and I, we were invited to go to a hotel to meet with the Chinese structure. And then we were supposed to go in the morning to meet the Chinese space people for the space flight system. And the person responsible for national security was supposed to take us. Something happened, he didn't take us. And then we said, what happened? We came all the way to meet with these people. He said, they have a problem. They don't want you to see, they don't want you to meet, but they're asking if you can give them, they build the system, they build the flight system you design. They don't have the fuel combination. Do you mind if you could give them the fuel combination? They can carry on. And I laughed. I thought this is a big joke. I said, so if they build it, they can find a fuel as well. So they must have tried many fuels, but they haven't understood what fuel they need to do, which the Iranians have. And the Iranians are not sharing it. It's very amazing how they're not sharing it. I think they shared it with the Russians in part of the technology. And I laughed and said, so they're only waiting for us to show their superiority once they have the fuel. And now, how long is it? 3 years now? Bangladesh, are you there? Do you remember? How long is it? 3 years ago? They still haven't found the fuel? They're still working on it?
4 years or maybe 5 years. But recently I heard that China has like a very successful like a anti-detection flight to influence the, how to say, the flight from Japan, American military base. I think China has a lot of
yeah, but what I'm talking about, when they asked us, no, I'm talking when they asked us to see the space people, and then they said, can you give us the fuel?
Yes,
that was,
yes.
You remember that one?
Yes, yes.
This is what it is. Once we give the technology, it'll go to all the nations. It'll go to all the humanity. What we need to perfect it, that when we go, there is no loophole in it. There is nothing missing. That's what it is. And you are the ambassadors of your nations. We went to the governments. We gave the key to the ambassadors. Now you come to bring that key back to us, that you can give it to your nation and to the race. I'll explain to you how it works very soon. Make your way. If you're a Muslim, you had to go for pilgrimage to Mecca. If you were a Christian, you had to go to see whatever. And if you're a Jew, you had to go to see the wall. Make your way to this and build that system. It's your obligation. For will change for what we're there to do. And then you understand it when you go in it, when you come out of it, you see it, you feel it. And then you see if the change comes with it. And how much we start changing from next 2 weeks in the structure of the world, when some of you, through your soul, sit with the world leaders and you enlighten their souls, and how we see things will change. And they say, oh, accidentally happened. No, because you managed to convey the message and it was heard and it was acted on. Any other question? It's just
Thank you very much,
global
Mr. Keshe. Yes, now
Thank you
my
very much.
final question is, do you have any update on JC Power and whether it
No,
really
we
matters
are not.
after the release of this
Doesn't
technology?
really matter anymore. Doesn't. I told you 2 or 3 days ago, I said one of the noisy years, I spent too much time getting involved, raising funds to build the factories for it. It'll come on its own. It will come on its own. And we will see it coming through.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr.
Thank you
Keshe.
very much. Instead of wasting time to change the past, let's build the future. The past will change on its own, becomes irrelevant. Any other question, Rick? We call it a day. Thank you very much for being here. And I hope we see at least 10 of you in Linz on Monday. You're the captains. Without you, we can't fly. And I'm sure more of you will come to Linz to add to that knowledge. There is a very specific way we're looking at a specific reason why we are in Austria. I'll explain that in the future. It's not just by accident. The Germans have a huge responsibility in the direction of the process of peace and development of this technology. We are not here by just accident. We are here by purpose. And German community has a huge responsibility in this respect. Make sure that the process is completed. And as you come to see the exhibition, it's your responsibility to see the rest which we ask for completed too. You will understand through your soul what we mean and what has to be done. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you who are and been around and will see the change. I have given you a knowledge that the whole of the universe is crying and envying for why mankind, with all the wrongs they've done, have been given such a gift. We have a lot to deal with them to convince them that it was needed to be done this way. That's my job. Thank you very much for today, and I'm sure we'll see a beautiful times for mankind starting from the 6th of June. Thank you very much, Rick, for being there all the time. Thank you very much for Klaus and the rest of the Keshe Foundation team around the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, and we look forward to the changes coming up and future guidance as we move along to through this next step. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody for being here today for the flight test announcement here on Saturday, May 28th, 2022. Next public workshop will be the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace on Tuesday. And that starts at 4 p.m. Central European time. And yeah, so that's the next one. There's also the the Keshe American Knowledge Team with its Sunday program. And I don't have the time that starts right now, but that's also available for people to attend publicly. Okay, I'd like to go out with the video called A New Tomorrow. That's it for today's workshop. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time around.
In the world of creation, we had the two extremes, except in the case of the Creator and Mitra, where we could never bring the functionality of the soul within the functionality of physicality. We had the physicality hidden within the soul, or soul within the physicality, or in conjunction of the two, one would never had the understanding of the totality, where we could transit but exist in both directions. With the new cycle, this is what Einstein said: when you turn one atom, the other atom changes. This new dimension will blow that field which commonly exists between all the cells of the universe into that position, which means all the created things, as a gift from the Creator in a way, become able to transmute between the two dimensions. There's a reason for this, and it's taken a long time for it to be done, and it has reached its pinnacle and it will be completed. It's already in the process of being completed. Was to take from the essence of the soul of every created things of the time, beginning of time, an essence of the creation of the soul or the center, and create a new creature which carries all the essence of the created in the new soul, which can with it go from the soul of the Creator to the soul of physicality of Mitra. This is what the whole knowledge is. The Creator is the universe, and Mitra the dimension of physicality and its behavior towards the dimension of physicality. And with a new system, every creature in the universe will have the understanding of the capability to transmute between the two. This has a lot of implication for all races in the universe, because now they all become the same. In the coming time, we will see even change in the position of galaxies, position of universes. Many systems will move due to the changes which has been brought. Man doesn't have that knowledge as such to monitor, but we'll have the knowledge to see, we'll have the time to see that with the new fields, as we call it, a lot of things will move in the right position to keep that ability to change between the two. That you don't need to kill to keep the physicality going, you don't need to steal, and the soul does not need to be engaged or to escape, to be out on its own, to be able to confirm its existence. And this this process will complete very soon. That the whole of universal community will be able to have the benefit of the two, both in the dimension of energy or matter, which never existed. When we released the soul, we had to get rid of the physicality. You call it death. When we brought the soul, you had to give it the physicality, and you go through the dimension of the birth, and then you have the whole commotion of bringing the two. With a new system, both soul and the soul of physicality work together in the existence of dimension. We expect a massive change in the physical characteristics of human race in the coming century. Because we change into the emotion of the physicality. The way, as I said many times, but many never understood, Indians and Pakistanis were the same, till one chose to take different kind of energy in the other one, and we see change of the feature. Now, with the balance between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of man, many of us will change feature, without a shadow of a doubt. Man will change the faces of anger, man will change the faces of hate, man will change the face of warmongering, because we get satisfied in the fields of it. And this is part of what will be and what has already started, and the completion of will be the birth of Mitra. Physical completion of birth of Mitra in a physical dimension, not in myths. And then we have the soul of the Creator, which the two will complete the cycle. And then, as I said very recently to one of my listeners, then we'll see if Adam will eat from the apple of love and giving it. And then we'll see how humanity will change. And the whole creation will change. We are at the verge of that change. Much, much closer than anybody could think of, not only a human race.